Alrighty, so today's day 58 on the CDT, and Mother Nature and the weather gods tricked me at the end of the day. We'll get to that in a second. I got up early to start the day and get on the trail early because there were rumors that there's going to be a nice morning and then rain, late morning and early afternoon. Probably typical monsoons, but that's what the forecast was, according to two gentlemen that I talked to who started at Monarch Pass yesterday. And monsoons, I'm used to the clouds coming in like late morning, and then by noon or early afternoon it's raining or snowing or whatever it's going to do. I was hiking by 6:15, I think. Within 2.5 hours, so prior to 9, the clouds are already coming in. So I was a bit nervous that today was going to be a wash where some thunderstorm was going to come in and I wasn't going to get very many miles. So I started the day with a big climb. I got over that climb and descended and was starting to go up the second climb, and that's when the clouds started moving in. So it kind of motivated me to kind of hike pretty quickly, and it was interesting. Clouds were kind of moving around in the wind. It reminded me of last Sunday, the rain day, where lower clouds are getting pushed by the wind, and wherever they got pushed, that's where the rain was, or precipitation, because they had freezing rain and some sleet and hail. So I was able to get up over the second climb without any precipitation, and I had sunshine and blue skies above me for most of the morning. When I was coming down off the second climb, and I decided to stop for lunch, so that was 12:45. As soon as I sat down to eat some lunch, it started sprinkling, but it didn't amount to much. It was just 5 minutes of sprinkling, and then it kind of petered out, and the wind blew the clouds away. So I decided to look at the third climb of the day, and it was I believe from where I started to the top, I think it was the largest of the three climbs for today, and it was 3.5 miles. I don't know what the elevation was. It was probably over, I think it was over 2,000 feet. And I was able to get those 3.5 miles in about an hour and 40 minutes. It was 100% ascending. I ate lunch at the very bottom, and then as soon as lunch was over, I was ascending. So as I started to ascend, there was a bunch of switchbacks, but once I got above tree line, I could see that there were some nasty storm clouds coming from the west, and the wind was blowing in my direction. So that was pretty good motivation for me. I think that's why I was able to churn, more than 2,000 feet and 3.5 miles in an hour 40, is just because I wanted to get up and over that high point before the storm clouds came, because after the high point there was a descent to a water source, and if I needed to camp, I could. If the weather held off, then there was a smaller climb that went from that water source over like a ridge, and then there was a much larger descent to other water sources and camping, and that was where I was trying to get to by the end of the day. I wanted to get about 22 miles today. So I was able to get up over the third climb before the weather hit. Literally, I think I was 20 feet from the top of that climb, and it started spitting a little bit. So it wasn't a heavy rain, but it was definitely spitting. And I started descending, and then I noticed the wind changed directions, and the cloud that was spitting on me got moved elsewhere, and that was the one that looked really nasty, like really dark gray. I thought it was going to be a thunderstorm. And then some different clouds started moving in my direction because of the wind shift, and they were lighter color, but you could tell that they were going to dump precipitation as well. So I was able to descend to that water source and keep on going, and I saw blue skies above me, and the gray clouds were definitely coming, but I thought I could get over that that hump before, or that ridge before the weather came, and I was able to. But again, as soon as I hit the ridge, it started to rain, and this time it was freezing rain. It was freezing rain and good old-fashioned wet rain, just a nice mix, and that followed me for the descent to the first water source. And I had a decision to make, because either I could camp at that first water source and set up my tent in the rain and whatnot, or I could hike about a mile more and there was a different water source. And as I was trying to make this decision, the rain stopped, and so I decided I'm gonna hike a mile more. Maybe the wind will help dry out my clothes, and when I get to the new site, it won't be raining. I can set up my tent without it, getting wet in the tent and whatnot. So I got to that campsite, and that happened to be a little over 22 miles. So I was happy with my mileage, but I got there early. It was like 5:15. I threw up my tent. Like, I picked a site that was a little bit angled. That way, if it rained, I wouldn't get hit with a pool of water underneath my tent. The water would keep on running. And I got everything in the tent. I got like the pack outside and in the vestibule and everything. And then I went down the trail to pick up a few liters of water so that I could filter it in the tent and have water this evening to cook and all that stuff. And after I got everything set up, after I collected my water, I was walking back up to the tent site because the water's just a little bit down. The wind, like, there was a few big gusts of wind. The clouds got pushed out, the sun came out, and there were bluebird skies above me, and the sun was shining. And I had a conundrum, because the next 2 days is supposed to be pretty foul weather in the Sawatch Range, or the Collegiate Peaks, which are part of the Sawatch mountain range. And when you're hiking through Colorado, because of the monsoons, when you have clear weather and you still got time on the clock, you gotta hike. Yeah, my goal was 22 miles, but if I had not set up my tent and I still had my pack packed, I would have tried to push for 24 or 25 miles. I would have picked up water at the water source, and I would have started the next ascent, and just hope that there was some camping that I could, I guess, cuddle up next to some trees or shrubs or willows or something. And the reason why is because even those 2 and 3 miles can make a difference when, let's say I get up tomorrow and let's say it's a sunny and a blue skies for the first 3 hours, and I'm able to, chalk in 6 or 7 miles, because I have an ascent, and then I think I go down, and then there's a second ascent. I go down even further, and then the largest ascent is towards the end of the day. Those three, like, if I could have gotten 2 or 3 more miles, then if I get stuck in my tent tomorrow, let's say after 3 hours of hiking, and I'm able to do 7 miles, then those 2 or 3 extra miles means I got 10 miles, right? And I'm closer to the next resupply at Twin Lakes. But now I decided not to repack my tent. I decided not to hike. I knew it was going to be a cold night because of it raining. The second is I'm on the east facing slopes, so the sun went away early. Like, the sun went away at 6:30 or something. It's still shining across the valley, but I'm just in a bad position, so I'm in the shadow. And I'm high up. I'm above tree line, so it's, or I'm just at tree line. So essentially, you know, it's going to be a cold night. So I just decided, you got your 22 miles, let's go ahead and cook dinner, let's stretch, let's get everything set up, get in your tent and go to bed early. And that way you can wake up early tomorrow and start, and hopefully you can have some good weather before the foul weather moves in. It's 8:15, I'm finished. Dinner, stretching, my logbook, everything's finished. I just have to blow up my air mattress, open up my sleeping bag, change clothes, and go to bed. So the weather gods and Mother Nature tricked me a little bit with that storm. I thought it was going to storm the rest of the night. Again, that's why I put my tent on an angle so that the water would drain and everything. And then bluebird skies, and it's been bluebird skies ever since 5:30, and it still is. Like, I can look across the valley and I can see a couple of white puffy clouds, but other than that, it's just blue skies. So they got one on me. I got my mileage for today, which is great. I would have pushed on, but it is what it is. It was definitely like the precipitation was swirling around. I dodged a few bullets of rain. Like, I could when I ascended, I think it was the third ascent, I could look across the valley and I could see some precipitation over the valley itself. And so if I'd been, you know, half an hour or a little bit longer later in my hiking, I would have gotten some rain before I started the hike, or the ascent. So I definitely dodged some stuff, and the sun and the blue skies were kind enough to stick around with me today. I did get to see a nice rainbow where the sun was shining into a valley and it was raining in the valley, and it was a nice rainbow in that valley. So I guess today's shout out will be to two things. One is, well, I guess it'll be one thing, but two things fall in the category from today. The first, or the item, is just beautiful things. I think whether it's nature or kindness, whatever it is, like, beautiful things are sometimes, I think, taken for granted. So just stopping and looking at the rainbow, that was one example that, you know, after dodging weather all day and after three major ascents for the day, and again, like, 22 miles in Colorado is akin to, you know, 27 to 30 miles in New Mexico on flat ground. So just stopping and enjoying the rainbow was nice. And then the second was the views. Because we were so high, like going up and down, we got to see some amazing views of the Sawatch Range. And I have not seen it from this side. So it was definitely spectacular. Like, you could see, you know, mountains 4 deep, looking up the range, of varying sizes. So it was beautiful to see. I think that's it. I'm gonna get up early tomorrow. Hopefully that nasty weather that they're expecting on Saturday stays away from where I'm hiking. I'm hoping to get another 21 to 22 miles tomorrow. I think I looked at the map, and I think if I hike 21 miles, that puts me at the foot of a really tall climb, and I don't think I want to get stuck on a tall climb if the weather is bad. And I also don't want to camp on the side of a tall climb. So hopefully I'll be able to get the 21 miles in tomorrow and then set myself up for the tall climb then the first thing in the morning. That tall climb is supposed to have a bit of snow still on it. It's Lake Ann Pass, and I think it's the north side of the pass still has snow. So if that's the first thing I do in the morning and the ascent takes me, you know, between an hour or two, then that'll put me on the snowfield around 8-ish, and so hopefully the snow will be firm enough and I can get across it without any problems. So anyway, Hoosie, that's my thinking. I know I look a mess, but I got rained on like 3 different times, 2 of them sprinkles, and then that last burst was pretty heavy. So I looked like I think a drowned rat that was saved at the last minute. So that's kind of funny. Everyone have a nice evening. Thanks for watching the videos. And if you have any questions, text me and I'll answer them. I got the new rainfly up today, so I thought it was going to get tested in the rain, but then the rain dodged us. So it fits the tent, which is great. And the fact that Cascade Designs or MSR had a rainfly that fits a 14-year-old tent is fantastic. So again, I appreciate those folks being able to send that out to me, and I'll repair my original rainfly once I get off trail. So that was a little bit of a tangent at the end there, but everyone have a nice evening, and I'll talk to you folks later.